Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. So it's a bit of an impromptu colour along. I've had a bit of a week, one thing or another, and I just couldn't find anything that I felt like colouring at the moment. And I've got a haul to do of beautiful gifts, and until I've shown them I really don't want to colour in them. So I was sat here looking through my books and this cropped up. Now, I didn't really like it when I first got it. Of course, a plane's going to go over now. I wasn't impressed at all, but the more I've flipped through and the more I've looked at it, the more I was enjoying the images. And the page I've chosen is this double page of these rather funky looking alien snails. Let me squish the book down. Let's try and get that to lay a bit flatter. There we go. It's going. Yeah, I don't know why, but I could see the landscape and I could see the colours that would work. So I thought, I was prattling about and getting colour combos, and I thought, you know what, Lucy, why don't you do this just as a colour along? Because there is so many elements that are going to be the same colours that it'll actually be quite quick, I'm hoping, in terms of filming for you. So with that said, let's not waffle. So I'm going to I want these stones or rocks formation to have a sort of Mars feel. So sort of reddy brown oranges. Then we're going to put some greys, some warmer greys down here. And I haven't decided on these brain looking slugs yet. Maybe a sort of goldy body. And I don't know about that yet, but we'll get there, we'll do it. So, let me just tell you, I've got my ink tents out. Some of those will be the new colours. So I've got ink tents. Then I've got 3 colours of the light fast pencils to go over the ink tents when I've done. I've chose these colours because they match really well with the ink tents colours, but I mean they're fairly generic colours, so you could use different sets. And then I've got some Prismas for the rocks down here when we've done. So if I zoom you in, shall we focus on this big rock here, this big guy, with our poor dude hiding around here. And I get my little ticket out to show you. We have got, I'll fold it over so it's not confusing at the moment, and cut it off. I'll keep those for a minute. There we go. We've got madder brown, red oxide and a willow. Now, let me see. I'm just checking to see if any of those are... No, I think they're all original colours from the original set. So if you don't have the new 28 colours, don't fret. Okay, so we're going to go in with our madder brown. Now that's got a really reddy hue to it, but I want to go in quite dark with it. So I'm going to follow the Kerbster's dark lines, and I'm going to fill this with madder brown. And you're just going to have to trust me, folks. So I want quite a generous amount of ink tents. I'm getting a bit braver with them since it's my last colour along. We're going to fill this bit up. I'm going to bring that round actually and join it. And in here is going to be dark. And I'm going to bring that round and join it. And you'll see why shortly. It does look really effective. I have practiced on a photocopy of it. And we're going to come up round behind this one. And bring that out here. Right, actually come right all the way up there and round that one. Then I'm going to go in with our red oxide. Now this is what, when you activate it, this is what changes things up dramatically. And we get that sort of Mars landscape look that I'm trying to go for. So I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. Activate it. And I'm always going to put the red oxide next to the madder brown because they'll blend together really nicely. There's some quite big spaces on these rocks, so the Inktense is going to work really well. I'm going to put madder brown in there, and I'm going to follow that round there, and we'll do the same here. So it kind of builds up by itself. Once you've put that dark in, and then if you follow around with your red oxide, it kind of just builds up by itself. Okay, a bit more, get lighter. Okay, and then we're going to go in with our willow, which again will then change that tone again. So I'm not going to overlap too much with the willow because I want to keep that gorgeous, that brown red from the red oxide, a real Mars looking colour. Okay, I'm going to get a piece of, here we go, a piece of scrap paper to put behind, so just so it doesn't, I always manage to get paint on the other side of the page, so I'm just going to do that. Let's activate this and have a look. So I've got my Derwent brush. It's been playing up a bit, so I might have to switch up. So I'm just shaking it because it's not been behaving itself. So if we start on this edge, we're going to activate the willow first because it's our lightest colour and we want to try and keep that light. And then we're going to drag it in to that dark. Okay, now I haven't activated that dark yet. Now I've got a ton of water. What is going on, Mr. Derwent brush? These are usually so reliable. I think I must have a dud. Okay, so I'm going to leave that dark for a minute. And I'm going to activate the willow and drag in that red oxide in there. And do the same here. Now I've stopped using a towel to, hang on one sec, can't speak and focus. I've stopped using a towel to wipe my colours on. I'm using a piece of paper instead because I was finding it was drying my brush out too much. So what I'm doing is just wiping my brush off in between activating these colours so that I don't get too much ink dragged in. Okay. So we'll get this gorgeous blend. Okay, right now I'm going to activate the dark stuff. Let's go with that now. And you'll see just how that comes alive then. Comes alive, rather. Okay. Didn't do that bit, I forgot. Here we go. Activate this down here. So you're going to have to be a bit patient with it. But of course it's Inktense, so it's going to be a lot quicker. When it's dry we'll do some detailing, not much, but we'll do some detailing with pencil. So we can really deepen up anywhere we want to. Okay, we are going to do another bit together. So, that's how those rocks are going to do. Should we look at a different aspect of the page? Let's look at these because they look a little bit more fiddly, don't they? I'm just going to move my page up, let that dry in between. So, should we look round, I don't know, let's look at this one here. Sort of different style and shape. Again, the same theory applies. I'm following Kerby. So I'm going in with our dark, which is madder brown at the bottom here. I'm going to lessen it out. I'm going to come up these edges because it looks to me like this boulder's in front. So I'm going to make that dark there. Now it's important to make sure you put enough of that down. Okay, a little bit over here. I'm just going to kind of make this rock recessed, so it's going to be darker at the edges. Okay, we'll bring it up. We might as well just bring it up here. We can make that a bit darker too. Why not? It's up to us, isn't it? We'll deepen that up there. So I'm just finding, like, it's obvious where his darker lines are, but I'm just going to put some divisions in this rock in with our madder brown. It's darker there. We'll put some division in here, and I know it looks hideous, but once you activate it, we might need a little bit more here. A little bit more brown there. Can you see everything? Yeah. Looks like a giant unmentionable object at the, the moment, but it won't, folks. Right, red oxide. Let's go in with our red oxide. And like we did before, I'm going to follow wherever I've put that madder brown down. I'm going to bring out the red oxide. And I'm being generous with the red oxide, because that's what, like I said earlier, that's what gives us that Marsy look. That nice red tone. And we'll go down here, we'll fill this up. We'll leave a few gaps for the willow, although that's quite going to be dark down there. So we'll now put willow in. There we go. And let's do a bit of activating. Okay, so we're going to find our willow area and blend that in to our red oxide. Kerby's paper seems to understand our wants and needs and just lets us do this. I love Kerby's paper. I do believe, I could be wrong, but I know the first book was by Panini Chats, was the same publishers as Kerby, and her paper's equally as delicious. Okay. So I'm just activating one little section at a time, so that I've got time to make sure that red oxide blends in. There we go. And anywhere that we wanted smoother, our pencils will do at the end. Okay. So I'm going to go up the centre here, get this lighter bit done first. Zigzag in and out of there, and then activate the madder brown. And then while it's wet, we've got a little bit of time to play. There we go. Now, it doesn't look much now, but I can promise you, we go back up to this one, it turns out really, and that's still wet, but it turns out really effective. So that's how I'm going to do all of those, all of the rocks. But down at the bottom here, we're going to switch, and it's much, much more simple. Just get my page. I do apologise for my creaking chair. I will make it a priority on my next payday. Okay, so these are the colours I have got. So with the Inktense, we just need asphalt. I'll try and straighten you up a bit. So I'm going to make the rocks stop down here. You can see where the big boulders of the tall pillars stop, and you kind of get this sort of boulder effect down here. So like this field here, this is a really good example. Let me put that back there. We're going to just the asphalt, that's all we're using right now. I'm going to go in round where I want it darkest. Again, I'm using Kerby as my guide. I'm just going to bring it out. Now I'm not using hard pressure on this at all. And then, once I've got the edge done, I'm just going to literally, like I said before on the other one, just tickle the page with it, just to get some colour, and leave that top bit empty. And the reason for that is, just make sure my brush is clean, we are going to drag that colour in. So I'm going to wet that part of the page and then drag that grey in. Now this asphalt is a new colour and it is an incredible warm grey. But against that red alien background or Mars background, this is going to look really cool because we're going to put pencil over the top of that, and as you can see we're going to have a little tiny bit of colour in there. There we go. We'll just do another one really quick. So asphalt, you're all skew-iff. Straighten up people, straighten up, come on. Okay, so we're going in with our asphalt. We want it a bit dark around the base, up here, and the edge where it's going to meet our big pillar of red rock. We'll have a little bit down here. Okay, now we're going to lessen it off. So I'm just going to start to put a little whisper of asphalt in there. There we go. Just a whisper, folks, just a whisper. Okay, now I'm going to wet the bold patch, I'll call it, and drag some of that colour in. Then when we're happy with that, we can then activate the dark. And then I'm going to clean my brush off because I've got too much ink, and then I'm just going to smush that out. There we go. So we get some highlighted areas, and that'll be, I actually haven't, yeah, I think it was just chocolate, and that'll be so that we can add just a hint of red, and then we'll use the Prismas just to smooth it over. And with our red rocky background, it's going to look awesome. There we go. Just make sure I've activated that there. There we are. Right, let me show you the page behind. If I come out a little bit, you can see how lovely and red that's gone. And when it's filled in, oh, it's just going to look amazing. Okay, so on the reverse side, not a whisper of colour that's gone through. So I would prefer to have a drier brush and have to sort of activate it more than it to overly saturate the page. What we're going to do quickly before I go off is I'm going to colour this whole rock with you, just so you can see just how the different shapes are going to be done, and it's all the same. There's nothing going to be done any differently to what I've shown you. So we're going to come back in, and should we do that one? Yeah, let's just do this one. We're focused in on it now. So we're going to go in with our dark. We're going to find Kerby's dark spots, and I'm putting that in. And I'm kind of going to follow that up so that this boulder here looks like it's in front. And again, Kerby's given us some dark there, so I'm going to go in dark up here. Extend that up. And then we've got all these different shapes. So we've got some shading here, but I'm going to bring that up. So I'm just following Kerby's lines, but it will help to separate and make this rock look like bundles of stone rather than, I don't know, it looked like lots of boulders together, if I make any sense. Okay, we can do that with the oxide. Yeah, just going to bring that out a little bit. Follow that line. Okay, let's go in with our red oxide. So we're going to follow where we've put our... Once you've put that dark down, that's the easier part. Then, because you can follow with your red oxide where you've put it. We didn't do this boulder, so I'm just switching to the darker colour. I'm going to plop that in there. Back with our red oxide. And I'm going to follow where we've put that dark. Same in here. Make that bit dark. Same in here. And I'm just leaving some space for willow. Here we go. Following again the madder brown, leaving space for willow. Okay, and then the rest we fill up with willow. Okay, then the fun part. We get our scrap piece of paper ready and we're going to activate it. So going in with where the willow is, same as we've done, nothing different. And I'm just going to kind of swipe each little rock and activate that, each little piece, and activate it. There we go. So I get a kind of smooth transition. That one, let's just blend that out. Drag that up a bit more. Okay, let's do this next one. Activate the willow into the red oxide. And then just kind of swipe round it. So just kind of smooth strokes with it. Activate the willow. There we go. And they kind of just do it for you, really. And that's the look I'm going for, is that kind of sort of gradient of colour. So swiping with the brush is kind of helpful. There we go. Now I caught the dark, so I'm going to carry on with the dark there. Clean off my brush and then activate that willow. There we go. Another boulder. Now I might go back in with a bit more red oxide, but we've got our pencils to do that. So we absolutely do not need to panic if it doesn't blend the way we've wanted it to, it hasn't come out like we want, because our pencils can go over it and give us far more detail. So, you know what's coming, folks. I'm going to go off and do this incredible mammoth task of all these pillows, all these pillars down here in the same fashion, and all the big rocks that stand out over here. The rest of it we'll do in the asphalt, but I'll come back and show you. And if I think there's any particular spots that might be a little bit difficult and I haven't sort of explained it, I will I'll come back and show you, but I think we should be all right. So give me, I don't know, 6 weeks. I'm joking. Give me a while and I'll be back when I've coloured all this in. All right, friends, see you in a sec. Okay, folks, so marathon task over. I did peg down these little bits just to keep my page a bit flatter. If I can move that out of the way. So what I did over in this corner here, just to show you, is I used a little bit of pencil and went over. And this is the look I'm going for the rocks down here, just to bring in a little bit of that orange so it's not so stark against my Marsy rocks. So I've gone a bit dark over this side. So I thought I'd start here and see if I can work that out. We'll do it together. So if I bring you in, and then if you remember we just used our asphalt in the ink tents to get those colours. So now I'm going to bring in some light fast, as I mentioned, and some Prismacolors. So we've got chocolate, which is a Prismacolor, 50% warm grey, 30% warm grey, 10% warm grey, and the Mars orange from the light fast set, which goes really well with these. And then I'll show you just how I sort of touched up the rocks as well. So I'm going to go in with our 50% warm grey to start with, and I'm going to put that in where we want the dark. I'm not doing it light, I'm not doing it heavy, sorry. I'm just going to go lightly around there. We've got enough of that colour on there. So I'm just on that edge. Then I'm going to take my 30% and we're going to add a little bit of that. This will just help to smooth that out, and we can tone down some of that colour that I've gone too dark with. And then we take our 10% and we'll put that over. Now the wonderful thing about ink tents is you can colour over them, so I'm sure it will look okay when I've done. Okay, so now we're going to start adding a little bit of colour to this. I'm going to take the chocolate Prisma and I'm going to put that around the base, around where we put that grey, just lightly. I'm not pressing hard. Okay, then we're going to take the Mars orange and we're going to put a little bit of that in, which is the light fast pencil. They are beautiful pencils and very underused in my set. I think I get scared of using all my really posh pencils. I don't know why. So I just want a little bit of a hint of that sort of orange going through these rocks. And then I'm going to go back with my 10% warm grey and just a little bit of smushing. And the Prismas and Light Fast just work beautifully together. There we go. So I just literally want just a hint of that that orangey rock coming through. Okay, let's do another one so we can fix that other one. So in with our 50% warm grey. I'm sorry the page is twisted round. It's the easiest way for me to get to everything. Okay, so we've got our 50%. We're then going to go in with our 30%. I'm going to put that in. And then our 10%. Put that in. We'll lighten everything up, blend it and smush it. And then we'll go in with our chocolate. A little bit of chocolate. Just gives us that deep red hue that the rocks have got. So I'm going to put that in our shadowy areas. Put a little bit in here. And then bring in that Mars orange. So I'm just going to pick a few spots. There's a couple of little lines in there that you can follow. And just give it that subtle hint of the red from those rocks. There. And then go back in with our 10% and just a little bit of smush. And I think when that's complete, that's going to look really effective. Over here, it just looks like we've got a little bit of red sort of sand that's spilt out from the rocks. That's my imagination playing with us. Okay, so that's how I'm going to go over and do all those rocks. Let's have a look at smoothing out some of these rocks. So let's have a look. Let me pick a bit that I was not particularly happy with. Let's look at this bit. We're in camera. So, right. So now I have to get all my colours together, which should be here. So I've got chocolate. These are all light fast. So, but you'll have these similar colours in whatever set you've got usually. So I've got chocolate, raisin, Mars orange, burnt sienna and yellow ochre. Now, if I use the chocolate to go in where I want this really dark edge, and we can help with that blend if it, you know, you weren't particularly happy with how you'd done a bit. And I'm not going to go over it all, I'm just picking out bits that maybe need a little bit of help. Raisin, gorgeous reddy brown colour, this raisin, it is really pretty. My overlap going into that chocolate. Then we're going to take the Mars orange, which we'd use down here. We're going to put that in. This is why I chose the light fast, because they just match so well. And then I'm going to miss burnt sienna out, and I'm just going in with that yellow ochre. But I've just put that burnt sienna in there. Should we, you know, if we've got a bigger space that needs a bit more smoothing out, that will help us to blend even further. There. So you can just play around until you've got a nicer blend going on, softer transitioning colours. Like I say, I'm not going to do that on every bit, but some of the bits that I'm not happy with, like here, just feel that that needs a little bit of a helping hand. So we'll go in, we can get a deeper colour with that chocolate in between our rocks. So this is raisin. And then we want Mars orange. Backtrack over things. And then a little bit of our yellow ochre. That'll give us our nice highlight. Okay, just a little helping hand, and I think it really makes the difference, because you can really pick out those rock shapes with that chocolate and get that dark in there without losing those Marsy tones that I wanted. So really get that darkness in. That deep effect of these rocks being piled on top of each other. There we go. Right, Mars orange. I just really like how the light fast layer so well over each other as well. Just a little highlight there. So can you see the difference between the ones we've done? Like I say, I'm not going to do it all over the place. Let's put a little bit of the burnt sienna in there. A little bit of burnt sienna. It's a more subtle colour. There we go. It's a little bit more like our original colours that we had. But we still get to keep that highlight area. So I really quite like that, and I think that'll turn out beautifully. So let's pick another one. Let's pick another spot. Just to do another one with you quickly. Okay, where have I got one that I don't that could do with some help. Let's do this boulder here. Right, so if we go in with our dark, really pick out those spaces. And soften off that edge, like we normally do. Okay, then we go in with our gorgeous, gorgeous Rosan. And then we will take Mars Orange. We will take a little bit of the burnt sienna this time, because I quite like that match. So burnt sienna. And then we will go in with a tiny bit of yellow ochre and just re-pick out where we want some light. There we go. Now I've left that bit. So can you see the difference? It does make quite a difference, doesn't it? So if we just finish that bit, so that rock is done. It's quite quick because we're just going over what we've already coloured. Just going to make that dark there. Rosan, and like I said, I'm not going to do this all over because I'm happy with a lot of the rocks, but sometimes, just sometimes, you make a fluff up with your ink tents, and here's your options. There we go. And we're just going to put a tad of that yellow in. So can you see how different and bold that makes that look? And it depends on if you like that painterly look that you get with ink tints. You do get, make that dark, you do get a kind of, do you know what I mean? That kind of, this kind of look. You sort of brushstroke look. I don't know how else to explain it. You don't need to do this stage if you don't want to. But you know me, I have to faff and fiddle. I'm just going Mars Orange there. And in there. But yeah, so that's me faffing and fiddling. So if I can lay it flat underneath, I've got all these bits of paper that I've been wiping my paintbrush off on. So as you can imagine, it's taken a bit of time. So these ones have been done. These haven't. The only ones over this side of the page are the ones you've just seen that I've done. So if you wanted to deepen that up, you know, that's how I'm going to do it. Just darkening that bit up. See, because I have to faff and fiddle. It's just, it has to be done, folks. And then I'll cry because I fluffed it up because I didn't leave it alone. Oh, life, I don't know. There we go. Alright, my beautiful friends, so let me just put those there for you, just so you can get a screenshot of those if you want, of those colours. They're what we've used. So, with that technique, I'm going to go off again. I'm going to finish the grey land that we've got down here with our Marsy look, and go over any bits of the rocks that I've wanted a little deeper, or you know, a little bit more definition in, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the next part, which I haven't planned. Alright folks, see you in a second. Right folks, here we are. I've faffed enough, I need to step away and leave it alone. I'm really pleased with the contrast of the floor against the rocks. So the next thing we have to focus on is our brain snails. They look like brains to me. And I was going to do them fleshy, but it gave me the creeps. So we're going to do something else. All right, let's focus on this big guy here. He might be easier for us to focus in on. So I've got 4 colours. Yes, you heard me correctly. Lucy's doing 4 colours of Inktense. What the actual? Okay, so I've sharpened my pencils and I'm ready to go. And we're going to do this in true Lucy style with our shading. So I'm going from darkest to lightest, and I'm going to use Willow, and we're going to put Willow in our darkest spots where we want him deepest. So I'm going around the rock. I know we've used Willow before, but we're going to blend this so it will look different. So we're going to put some Willow up there. Okay, then we're going to go in with Mustard. These both are original colours from the set of 72. Very beautiful colour. Very ochre colour. Then we're going to use the gold, which is a new colour, I do believe. Let me just check. No, I've told you that. Yes, it is a new colour. I love their new colours. It's really enhanced the set and made it very exciting to use for me. Okay, then we're going to have a little bit of lemon just to lift that up. Alright, let's just do another one before we activate. So, Willow. So I'm going to make him dark around the bottom here. And round here. So all these are like fat body parts overlapping each other. It's gross, isn't it? This is such a different page for me to do. I don't know why it popped out to me really, but it did. Okay, so that's Willow. Then we're going to go in with our Mustard. And then our gold. Yep, gold. Make sure I get them around the right way. And then we're just going to add a tad of that lemon, which will lift that up. Okay, let's activate, shall we? The fun part. I hope you can see all that. So let's activate. So we're going to go in with the lemon, keep that lemon, go into our gold, and then pull it all in together. So he's like a giant bundle of, I don't know what he is, a giant bundle of. Why would I say that? I don't know. He's gross, whatever he is. Okay, let's activate that. Just cleaning my brush off in between. Now I might go back in with the Inktense and do a second coat after this one, we'll see. I'm just smoothing that off. We'll see how it dries. There we go. So like there, I might want to put some more of the darker colour in, the Mustard and the Willow, to get that sort of effect. Let's just do another one quickly. Okay, Willow. So we know we need a little bit more Willow, I think. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter and have enjoyed any holiday time that you had off work, if you got any. Bless you if you didn't. Okay, then we're going in with Mustard. So I want to make sure I've got enough of that. Okay, then our gold. I'm going to leave it at that for that section. Let's activate. We can put the lemon in that next bit. That's better. So that's what I wanted, was that more. It's excuse the pun, intense colours. There we go. Or I can always go back over. Just clean off my brush. Okay, I like that very much. Once I've gone back over and got that depth of colour, that'll look cool. Alright. Now, the page is a bit drab, so we're going to liven this up. So for the shell, or the brain that he's got on his back, I have got these colours. We are going to go, so we're sticking with sort of earthy tones. We are going to go, let's move over to this now because it's got more shell to show you. We are going to go brights. And then our clouds and our sky is going to be a bit weird too. So I've got Persian red, paprika and mango. So Persian red being our darkest. So let's just do this. Let's do this one. If I'm going to do it, let's start at the edge, shall we? So I'm going in with my Persian red. And I'm going to bring that up because they need division between these. They're almost like those, you know, them sea sponges you get. Natural sea sponges. They look a bit like that. But it didn't fit my landscape, so paprika, which is going to give us that lovely sort of transition between the red and the orange. There we go. And then we're going to stick in mango. All right. So let's activate that. It's very, very pretty. But it, like I say, it still sticks with those earthy tones. So let's start blending that. And these kind of just do it themselves because they're so... it's so easy because they're the same colour family. So they kind of just want to blend naturally. You don't have to work it too much. There we go. I'm just cleaning off my brush. And then I'm just going to help that bit blend a little better. There we go. Oh, now it's flooded my page. Marvellous. Okay. Should we do another one together? Let's do... should we do the big piece of brain? So Persian red. I have to keep looking at my ticket because when you look at the colours on Inktense, not particularly on these two pencils, but if you look at the colours on Inktense, you can get it very wrong if you're not checking the colour name, and put a different colour first instead of your darkest, or whichever way round you like to colour. So I'm going to make sure that I've got enough of this Persian red. We can go in with pencil afterwards and really deepen up that I was going to say transition, but really deepen up that the segmented parts with a darker colour, or Inktense again if you wanted to. So I'm just making sure I've got enough of that beautiful red. Then we're going to take our paprika. I do think I've got a whole lot braver with the Inktense. I'm actually really beginning to enjoy using them. And I know I was gifted by my beautiful friend the Inktense blocks. So I might add to those because they're really handy for big areas. And then our mango. Let's overlap that a little bit. That will help to blend when we activate it. Okay, are you ready for the magic to happen? Let's go for it. Got my brush. Let's go in mango first. Let's get that going. Drag a little bit of that paprika in. There we go. And then into our gorgeous red. Bam! Shock of colour. Look at that. Oh, I do just love them. Aren't they just amazing? Another favourite medium. I don't think there's one I really don't like working with. I found watercolour pencils very difficult and challenging. Kevin brought me a beautiful set of cheaper watercolour pencils, and they're very beautiful, but I really struggled with using them. So maybe now I've been playing with Inktense, I should practice a bit more, shouldn't I? Okay, let me centralise you and then come out. So we are going to do all the way, all these little tiers, ignore their heads for a minute. We're going to come all the way up here with our gold colour, and this entire body on him using that same technique. Take it in little segments, dark up to light, dark up to light. Now I've just smudged my orange. What an idiot. And then we're going to do the shell, and then we'll come back and meet. We're so nearly there, folks. What a page. Alright folks, I will see you in a second. Alright you guys, here they are so far. Looking a little bit like chicken snails. I thought I was filming, I'm really sorry, and I did the heads of the alien, but exactly the same way as we did the brain body part. So, before I go any further and I choose the colours for the inside of his mouth and his eye, or her, we're going to put these clouds in. So, I've got 3 colours here. Again, they're just Inktense at the moment. New colours, very exciting new colours. So we've got Nightshade, Sugar Plum, Amethyst and Malibu. So I'm going to leave the Malibu out for a minute. Just forget about that one for a minute. We're going to put Nightshade in quite sparingly where we want some depth in these clouds. So a little bit of shadow. So Nightshade's going in. We'll put a little bit round here, and then I'm going to outline them with white Posca, and it looks so cool. Okay, then we're going to use the Sugar Plum, which brings a little bit of red pink in there, which will look like we've got dust from our space scene, our Mars scene, but giving us that nice contrast. And then right at the top, just quite lightly, we're going to use Amethyst. So we're just going to put that in quite lightly. Like that. Okay, let's do another one before we activate any of them. So I'm going to make this one cloud here. So we're going to have some Amethyst, Nightshade here. Just going to make it up. Sugar Plum. I'll bring that up. And then we're going to have a little bit of the Amethyst. And I'm going to try and leave a little white gap at the top like we did before. So that way we can have a really light patch. But it won't matter if I've done too much, because we're going to outline in Posca anyway. So we're going to do this one up here by the rock so we can really see how these colours blend and stand out. So let's do these. Okay, I'm going to make that dark there. We'll bring that up, make that one cloud. We can put the white Posca in. There we go. Sugar Plum. We'll have a little bit of Sugar Plum coming up here. We won't have much space for our Amethyst on this cloud. We'll go in there. And a little bit of the Amethyst, but not much. Okay. Right. I might as well keep going. And then we can activate the whole thing and see what happens. So, I'm just going to follow this shape round here. And I'm going to come up there. Come out a little bit with that. Under there. There we go. Almost just following the shapes at the base. Put in the Sugar Plum. Fill that little gap with Sugar Plum. Let's come up in there. And then we'll take our gorgeous Amethyst. It's such a pretty colour. And I'm going to leave a space at the top, if I can. If not, it won't matter. Clouds are not uniform, and this is an alien planet. So I'm going to go back in with Sugar Plum on this one, a little bit up there, and then Amethyst. And then we'll do the same down here. You wouldn't believe how long this video has taken. I started it, well, I can't remember when I started it, but I didn't do any colouring Friday night because my husband and I, we went out, and Saturday we went to get wedding clothes. So it's all been a very, very busy weekend, but it's lovely to sit and colour and be back with you guys again. So it would have been out a lot quicker, but these things have to be done, don't they? So I've got some really lovely dresses for the wedding and cool stuff, because we're going to Cyprus, if you didn't know, for my son's wedding. Really looking forward to it. Very proud of him, as I am both my boys. They're both beautiful children, or adults now. Right, okay, we've got a whole little, oh, I've missed a little gap there. Let's wedge some amethyst in there, a bit darker with the amethyst. Okay, let's get my trusty Derwent and hope it's going to behave, and my beautiful scrap sheet of paper. Love that sound. And let's activate. Okay, so I'm going to come in where I've got gaps, and I'm going to wet the paper like we did before and drag that amethyst in, just so it's very washed out there. Put it in there, and now my paintbrush is flooding. What is going on? Okay, then we're, it's going to mess that bit up, isn't it? It's got too much water there. Just push that out, let that dry, leave it alone, because it's pulled as in swimming pooled. I don't know what's going on with this brush. I might change the water barrel on it and put the old water barrel on this newer brush. This is the third one I've had of these brushes, and they're normally fantastic, but there we go. And you kind of get that, we'll get that sort of dreamy, wispy look, but we've still got that tiny little bit of reddy pink in there from our sort of landscape. There we go, activate that little corner. There we are. Blend that out a bit better, and then you wait, when it's dry and we put Posca on those lines, it just looks so cool. And then we're going to use the same colours, but we're going to introduce a little bit of blue into the sky at the top, and it just looks lovely. And then I'm going to use, I got some from the works in the UK, I got some Mod Podge Extreme glitter, and boy is that glittery, it's lovely. And the good thing about that is it looks like the diamond stickles that I use, but it's going to be flatter when you colour on the page behind, so I think it's going to be a new favourite of mine. Of course, as soon as it arrived, I put a hole in the top, stuck a paintbrush in it and had a go. I was so impressed, and honestly you should see it over black. It's just stunning. Right, we have got, let's just move that up now, it's dried out a little bit, play with that, and there we go. There we go. We have got one bit of cloudy landscape done. Okay, now I need to find a bit of sky to show you. Let's do this. So I might use a darker colour, I haven't decided yet, but we're going to take those three colours and Malibu, and we're going to do this bit of sky because it's the easiest, clearest bit of sky I've got. So I'm trying not to go in my wet piece, and I'm going to put Malibu at the base here just to introduce a little bit of blue. Now I have got another blue which is bright blue, so if I think Malibu is not dark enough when it's dry, I will introduce that. So then we're just going to work backwards. So now I'm going to put amethyst next to the Malibu, and it's okay to overlap them slightly. We'll just make it where that goes. I don't know, we'll bring it up here a little bit. And then we're going to put in the sugar plum. So let's bring that round here. Let's make it really less uniform than anything else. Make sure I've got enough of that colour. And then we're going to add the nightshade, which is absolutely gorgeous. I want quite a bit of that at the top. And of course they dry lighter than how you lay them down most of the time. So we might need to go back in. And I know that looks a hideous mess, but bear with me. Alright. So I'm going to activate the Malibu because that's our lightest colour. And I'm going to draw in that amethyst. Just so they mix. And then activate the amethyst. Get into that sugar plum. Get that going. And then activate that dark bit. Now I know in my last video I said, oh, tell me which book you'd like to see me colour in from a haul, I think it was. But I've been sent so many books and beautiful gifts that we'll have to, I will do the most popular one, but we'll have to sort of work our way through them. Okay, now in my mind I think what I'm thinking is that blue is going to be need to be a little bit darker, but we'll see, let it dry and then we'll see. Okay, alright, that's soaking wet now. So let's move out. So with the background done with those colours, we'll be able to, I've got my little space guide to do, but he won't take much. He's going to be, I think, a silver Posca pen and some greys, pencils. And then we can, well, we're nearly finished, aren't we? So, alright folks, I will see you in a second when I've completed the sky and the clouds. And I won't change that. If I decide that it needs to be a bit darker, I will let you know before I do anything else. And I'll make sure the camera's filming. Alright folks, see you in a sec. Okay folks, so I've done the clouds and I love them. I hate the sky. I don't like it at all. I think it's too much the same as the purple. I'm going to black it out. So you guys say you like it when I repair things. So it's completely dry, and as it's ink tense, it should just go over it. So I've just got a Posca pen. Black Posca. Actually, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to find the one with a bigger nib. Yes, so I've got this one, which is the 1.3mm nib. And let's go for it. And then we'll put some Mod Podge Extreme Glitter on it. I'm sorry folks, well, I was going to try the darker blue, but I don't want to mess the paper up to the point that I can't repair this. So we could always put some mica powder things over the top, you know, those, I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, we've got the Mod Podge Extreme Glitter and I'll be able to show you how to do that. So, I'm not going to make you sit and watch me colour the whole thing in. I'm just letting you know. We've gone black. But there was an option, if you wanted to play around with that galaxy sky, you've got that option of, I just didn't want to work the paper anymore and not have my option to go over it. I mean, I know there's always black acrylic paint. If worst case scenario. Let's go around here. But I think what it will do is make the clouds pop, and I think it will make the clouds pop and our brain snails, our brain chicken snails pop out a little bit more. We'll see. Let me just do this bit with you and we'll have a look. but I do think I've made the right decision here. We can always splat it with some silver watercolour paint before we put the extreme glitter on, but I don't think we'll need it. Let me just do this bit with you. So the Posca goes straight over it, no problem at all. We have to let it dry, but I think that's going to be cool. See how much that lifts that straight out, doesn't it? And I'm thinking that we might have like a turquoise eye or something there. He pops right off the page immediately. So I think that's the right decision, folks. So I will go and black out the clouds, black out the sky, and then we'll come back and finish all our detailing and bits and bobs. Alright, my lovely friends, see you in a sec. Okay, sky is black and very uninteresting at the moment. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is you can do it with whatever you've got, or just white stars, or... This is Glamour Dust by Deco Art, and it is copper. So what I'm going to do is take my brush, which is slightly damp. It's just a Richmond one that I got from Amazon. Okay, make sure I've got enough, but not too much. I'm just dabbing it off. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just, you won't see a lot of it, but it will give us a copper sort of appearance coming off these snails. And then I'm also going to put Mod Podge Extreme Glitter, which I'll show you when this is dry, in the places that I haven't put this gold. So I'm just dotting it on. There we go. Let's be a little bit more liberal, shall we, Lucy? Take that off. And the black will still shine through, but you'll get this sort of haze, which will be really pretty. Okay. There we go. And we're just going to add it into... Oh, can you even see what I'm doing? I haven't come in, have I? There we go. I'm just going to add it into some places coming off the rocks. And then the rest will be Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. So, just to liven this up a little bit, pump up the interest. It won't dry looking like that. So it is an acrylic. So it'll work really well with the Posca. Just going to dot that in. Why not? You have to have a play, folks, don't you? You have to have a play. And I was given this by my friend, and it's years old, but it's still beautiful. Dot that in. And then, so I'm going to leave space for the Extreme Glitter, which on black is just going to look like stars. It's going to be amazing. Okay, a little bit around here. Get a bit less and less. A bit around this rock. Can you see? No, I've got so much on my desk from doing this video. Do apologise. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to chuck that straight into some water and we're going to let that dry. Now we're going to do some detailing with our snails now. Move everything out of the way, pencils go away. Oh my goodness, such a trial. Right, so we've got two colours here that I want to just do some detailing on our snail. Just making sure I'm not putting it anywhere wet. So I've got natural brown and chocolate being our darkest, and I tried it just on this little patch here, and I think it really makes the difference. So these are light fast pencils that I'm using. So I'm going to go in with the chocolate, which is a really dark brown. So any colour in your set that's nice and dark. And let's just add that in there. And then a little bit of the natural brown. Bring that up. There we go. We'll just get that nice division that I was talking about when we put the ink tents on. And that's all I want, is just like these really dark spots there. I have to look up in the back and see what they're called. These, what I'm calling my brain chicken snails. No, mental. Okay, so a little bit more of the chocolate brown there, just blend that out like that. I just want to get this bit done with you, and then I'm going to take an acrylic pen. We've got lots going on this page, haven't we? Goodness me. Let's come up the edge here. There we go. I like it. I think it just enhances it. Now, I've got my set of Artex acrylic markers here, and I am going to use wine red. So it's a very dark brown red, but you could just use pencil and you probably get the same effect. So these were sent to me by Artex, and I've had them a while. And so in answer to the question that I had left in the comments, are they still working? Yes, they are. So you get a brush tip and you get the little bullet tip. And I'm going to use the little bullet tip. And all I'm going to do is pick out Kerby's patches. Can you see? Pick out Kerby's patches and just drop a little bit of that wine red in. Just so that they stand out a bit. And obviously we're going to have to let that dry before we can go any further. But I just think they'll be much better with a little bit more interest on them. There we go. What do you think? I think it just makes them pop out a little bit more than they were. So we're just going to pick out those spaces that Kerby's given us. Plop that colour in. And we're going to do his eye in a minute, and his mouth, and his teeth. Okay. Another very long mammoth video, and I remember saying at the beginning, oh, it should be a quick one for you guys. No. Nor for me. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Much, much better, I think, with that detail. We're going to take those two colours for round his head too. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to move over so I just don't... and the paint's still wet, Lucy. So I'm going to do some chocolate round his eye. Just to bring that out. Do you see my hand twitch then? It's such a pain. Okay. Now you probably can see what colour I was going to use. I started putting it on and thought, you fool! You haven't even turned the camera on, Lucy. So, and then I'm just going to bring out that natural brown around his eye. And let that sort of fade away. So that's going to make that eye pop out even more. And then a little bit of the chocolate in the dark spots round here, and then the natural brown. Just let that fade away, just so we get that. We can put a little bit of natural brown down here. It's just to pep things up a bit, folks. Just pep things up, you know. Let's have a little bit of that chocolate, and we can do the same on his body. So if we take the dark chocolate and follow those lines, just follow those lines. Don't need to do an awful lot, but it will just lift him a little bit, smooth him out, give him a little bit more interest than just being so flat. So follow the line, making sure we don't go over our highlight colour that we had added. Just pop that in, then a little bit of our natural brown. Okay, so I think that will just... it will just enhance him. Tone him down a little bit because he's very bright, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but... and then... there we go. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do, folks. Like I said, very little pencil work. Okay, let's go switch to the exciting part, which is his eye and his mouth. Is that dry? Yeah, nearly. Okay. So I've got the ink tints. I've got spring green, apple green and lemon. And then I'm going to use a little bit of artichoke for his teeth. So if we do his mouth first. Yeah. So I'm going to go in with the spring green, which is our dark one. And we're going to activate that. So I'm going to put that in around the edges, the spring green. Where Kerby's indicated that it is darkest. Like that. Then I'm going to go in with the apple green. And then I'm just going to wrap down the centre, put some lemon. Like that. Where is my paintbrush? Oh Lord. Okay, I'll have to use this one. I don't like it. It's one of the free ones that you get with things and it puts out too much water, but there we go, let's activate that. See what I mean? It just... let me grab my cloth. It just puts out too much water. So I'm just going to have to dab that, soak it up. Hate it. Rubbish. Okay. Now for his eye, we're going to do it the other way around. I want the dark here, round his pupil. Or the darker, none of them are dark. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with the apple green. Like that. And then the lemon round the edge. So it's got almost like a snake eye, isn't it? Or a cat's eye. Where have I put my proper brush? It's very annoying. I'm such an untidy colourist. There. Oh, no, that's the old one. Okay, well, let's try the old one. Okay, right, let's get that going. Might need to put a little bit of dark, maybe I'll go in with some pencil to darken that up. And then let's just go around the edge. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll go in with some pencil to darken that up. Alright, what we're going to do now is take Artichoke, which is a Prismacolor pencil. And we're just going to, where Kerby's given us the indication where things are dark, I'm going to put a little bit of artichoke in, and then I'm going to leave some of it white. Like this. Just so we get that illusion of like bone or dirty teeth, folks, dirty teeth. I doubt very much that they have Colgate Total in my Mars landscape. Can you hear my bird is outside? I've got a bird feeder out there that I put fat balls out for the birds. Oh, they love it. They get very excited, as you can probably hear. I hope you can. Alright, there we go. So, I am going to, as usual, go off. Let's come out and have a look. I'm going to go off and do all the deepening up and the little details. Then we come back. All that's left is to put some Mod Podge Extreme glitter on when the copper's dry. I hope you can see that now. Hope you can pick that up. And then our little spaceman, which will need hardly any work. And then we're done. Alright folks, I'll see you in a second. Okay folks, here he is. Now just to deepen up his eye a little bit, I used olive green and just went in round the pupil and around the edge of his mouth. I'm going to show you this Mod Podge now. This is Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. Now, we're going to put that on the background, and then we're going to, all we've got left is our little space guy. Let me get my brush. Okay, same brush, again, slightly moist. Just peel the top off that. Here it is, what it looks like. Just looks like white PVA, but you watch this. Gosh, it's incredible stuff. It is like having, and it will go on white, so don't be horrified. It is like having the free reign of diamond stickles on your page. You watch as that dries. We're just going to put that in, sort of slightly overlap it on that bronze, and we'll see what it looks like. If I feel that it looks a bit odd, because it is extremely glittery, as the name suggests, I will go over the whole thing. But there we are. Can you see? Yeah, you can. I've left you zoomed out. You don't need me close up to see me painting some Mod Podge on the top. And as it dries, you'll be amazed. This stuff is incredible. Wipe it off with that. It is the most glittery stuff in the world, I have to say. Well, I don't know. It could be argued that it is the most glittery stuff in the world. We will see. But as it dries, it just looks amazing. Particularly over dark colours. So we're going to put a little bit down there. Same on this bit. I've got a great big pot, so I can afford to be liberal with it. It was £5 from the works in the UK, which is really cheap because I've been trying to get a hold of it on Amazon. All you can get is like the gloss one in the UK. I haven't been able to find it on Amazon, so I'm so pleased to have been able to get a tub of it, especially at a really reasonable price. So let's finish that off. My curly page at the end there. Bring that down. Okay. Chuck that back in water because it is a PVA glue. So I keep the little cardboard top. I don't pull the whole thing off, and then I just screw the lid back up with it on. There we go. Alright, one last thing, Folkly Dokes. Let's get a silver gel pen to our little dude here. Oh no, I've done the same thing. Oh, I've trapped you on the tripod. Okay, we've got our little tiny guy here. Excuse my computer. Let me find my... we've got this one. Let's use this one. The Uniball Signo, and it is just silver. But oh gosh, I keep it upside down and it's gorgeous. Alright, so he's going to have a little bit around his mask. Like that. I'm going to put some on his belt. On the tubing on his backpack. Like that. And maybe some on his feet. And then all I'm going to do is get a Prisma, which is a 30% cool grey. And I'm just going to just lightly put some detail in, really, just some shading on him. I want his kit to remain grey, but he's got that little bit of shine, so I'm just putting it in where he needs a bit of shadow. On his knees. Okay. I think I'm not going to mess. Right, let's come out and have a look. Okay. Let me take a heat gun quick, excuse the noise, to this Mod Podge. Can you see that coming out? It is just incredible. Well, I did it on a test sheet. Look how that comes out. So we'll just dry it off quick. I don't use a heat gun very often because it tends to curl the pages, but I really want you to see how beautiful that looks. There we go. Right, I hope you're picking up on it. Isn't that gorgeous? Alright folks, look, I've got it all over the front of my book. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be back. No, actually we won't, we'll do it together now. Right. The last little detail is I am going to put a little white highlights in his eyes. There we are. And this little guy can have one too. Alright. We'll come out and have a look. There we go. I'm sorry that the background's not completely dry, but look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Alright my lovely friends, thank you so much for following along. I hope you've enjoyed it, I've loved it. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get out to you. But until we meet again in the very near future, for all my gifts and books that I'm going to show you eventually, take really good care of yourselves. Bye bye.